Hey cousin, come on in. Welcome to the Dear World Podcast, the place that if you drink your water and mind your business, you'll be just fine. I'm your host, Miss Amber J. The goal of the podcast is to be relatable, transparent, and honest. We're all family here, so nothing is off limits. I hope that you enjoy your listening experience, and don't forget to turn on your notifications so that you can be alerted whenever a new episode has been posted. What's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of the Dear World Podcast. You already know who it is. It's your girl, Amber J. All right, y'all. I said I was going to be on an every 2-week frequency, but what had happened last week, I kept messing up. And by the time it was all said and done, I think I had re-recorded the episode like 30-something times. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it another. So I was like, you know what? We're not going to do it this week. We're going to postpone and we're going to do it next week. Next week is currently right now, so this is why it's a week behind, but I'm staying consistent with that 2-week schedule. It's just a little delayed, so I apologize about that. Couple of updates. I do have my Made with Love journal releasing. It's going to be 200 pages. It'll be on sale for $15. I will let y'all know when it officially goes on sale. If you want to support your girl, I greatly appreciate you. If not, cool, no love lost, right? So it's going to be 200 pages. The first half is full of journal prompts, different thought-provoking questions. And then the second half is just going to be free writing. You can journal or you can use it for Bible study. Whatever your heart chooses to do, baby, do it. You feel me? The second thing, I don't know if I mentioned this previously. I think I did, but sometimes stuff, gets a little lost in transition in my brain. But I did start an LLC called Spark Detroit. The website is live, but there are a couple of things that I have to tweak before I actually start to take on working with youth under my LLC. So be on the lookout for that. I'm trying to figure out how to receive funding or how to fund it, because I know, like Stretch Money said, it takes money to make money. But I'm tired of putting up money and not making money. So we got to figure that out. But those are the only updates that I have. Oh, I do have a personal update that y'all probably don't really care about. But I am going to officially lock my hair. I set my appointment for next month and I'm excited because I'm tired of wigs. I'm tired of having to take braids down or them soft locks, all of that. So I'm going to be a locked girly. I'm excited. I really am. Hopefully as I get older, my hairline does not recede because, baby, I already have a big forehead. And if... Yeah. Anyway, today I want to talk about self-care. And I know that I have touched on self-care several times throughout making episodes of the Dear World Podcast. I think I have been doing this podcast since 2019 or 2020. So I know we have talked about self-care a couple of times. But I wanted to bring this back because the last couple of months have been really hard on me mentally with my job. And I realized that I have not been taking time for self-care. And y'all know, if you keep up with the podcast or you follow me on TikTok, you know I'm big on self-care, self-awareness, all of that. So this is something that is truly important to me. And I was like, we got to get back to it because, baby, you walked around stressed and angry all the time, and we can't have that. We can't have that. I'm a naturally cheerful person. I'm a naturally happy person. So when I walk around mad and I don't like that. So I gotta get back into self-care. So I wanted to bring that back to y'all as well. Cause as I remind myself of stuff, I'm gonna remind y'all of stuff. That's just the relationship that we have, okay? But to give y'all a little backstory on my frustrations, my job, it requires a lot of me. I do at least 2 or 3 people's jobs, and I get paid for one person. So sometimes that causes me to be stressed out. Sometimes it causes me to be frustrated. Sometimes I'm giving more than what I actually have to give. Sometimes I'm working 10, 11, 12 hours and I'm getting paid for 8. So it started to be a buildup of frustration. And I recognized that I had to take a step back and I had to reevaluate what I was doing, because the job is not going to change. And it's going to be the same if I go to another job, because that is just me. I try to take on all of the things. I have a good work ethic. I don't slack and all that other stuff. So jobs are always going to give me more tasks than what they are probably paying me for. So I had to learn to adjust my mindset. But in between the frustration and me learning this, I exploded. Like, it wasn't at work, but I got emotionally fed up. And I remember I was on my way home and I had called my mom. And my mama, I love my mama, man. She always knows when something is not right with me, when I'm sad or whatever. She's like, what's wrong? And I bust out crying. I was just telling her, like, Mom, I'm just so frustrated. I feel overwhelmed. Like, I'm overstimulated. I just always am tired. I don't know what to do. I'm ready to quit. I can't quit because I'm living in your basement. And it was just a whole thing. Then when I got home, I did the same thing to my boyfriend, bless his soul, because he just let me cry. And he probably like, what the hell is wrong with this girl? It's just a job. But I truly, like, just had enough, and I exploded. And ever since that day, I promised myself, girl, we got to get it together, because you cannot allow a job to make you feel that way. Matter of fact, you can't allow anything to make you feel that way. You got to get it together. So I had to get back into my prayer. I had to get back into journaling. I had to get back into the things that are self-care for me, that fill my cup. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't. Imagine yourself as a water bottle. I'm going to imagine myself as a bottle of Sprite, because, baby, that's all I really drink is water. So I want to imagine myself as a different beverage, okay? So you imagine yourself as whatever beverage you want to imagine yourself as. And imagine you are constantly just, pouring from that beverage. Pouring. And nothing is ever getting poured back into you. You just are constantly pouring. Eventually, it's going to run out. Eventually, the well is going to run dry, right? And that's where self-care comes into play. It is allowing you to refill yourself so that you can show up as your best self, not only for other people, but most importantly, for yourself. And I think in 2025, we definitely live in like this culture that glorifies the hustle, that glorifies being on the go. I don't sleep. I don't get tired. I'm doing this. I'm making money over here. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Okay, but when are you taking time to take care of yourself? We spend a lot of time making money, making moves, doing things for our family, doing things for jobs and all of this other stuff, but we don't pause to take care of ourselves. Self-care is not selfish, and it's not about indulgence or being lazy. It's about maintaining your well-being so that you can be your best self. Because I don't know about y'all, but I don't like walking around feeling frustrated, angry, mad at the world, and not knowing why. And most of the time, I ain't gonna say most of the time because I can't speak on other people, but I know most of the time for myself, it's because I feel depleted. It's because I have exhausted so much of myself, giving myself to other people and other things, that I feel like I have nothing left, that I'm just so tired, I don't want to do anything but go to bed. So I don't ever want to have myself be in that position again. So that's why we're talking about self-care, okay? The other thing, going back to you can't pour from an empty cup, it's not your responsibility, or you don't have to give what's in your cup. Technically, overflow is for other people. So when you fill in your cup and it's to the brim and it starts to overflow, that's what's for other people. Because what's in your cup is for you. But sometimes, as people, we do give what's in our cup and not our overflow, because we just don't have overflow. So that's a whole nother conversation. We need to work on overflow. Our cup needs to be full, and it needs to be overflowing, like Jesus said. Okay? Just going into some things that self-care can help with. Self-care can help improve your mental and emotional health. Oftentimes, neglecting yourself leads to stress, burnout, frustration, resentment, and so many other things. I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my notes. Taking time to rest, reflect, and recharge helps us regulate our emotions, reduce anxiety, and maintain a positive mindset. When you are in a good headspace, you can make better decisions, handle challenges better, and just overall be more resilient. So again, going back to me when I had a meltdown at work, I wasn't handling challenges well at all. I'm like, y'all got me fucked up. And that's just what it was. Not regulating my emotions well. I just retorted to anger and frustration. I shut down. Like, you could physically tell oftentimes when I was at work, I wasn't fucking with them. I just was mad. Sitting in meetings, just mad. Snapping at people, being more aggressive than what I normally would be. Just having smart comments to like my little work buddy, or my boyfriend just not in a good headspace. So that let me know, oh, you got to tune back into your self-care because you felt way off. It also helps you set healthy boundaries. So I realized at my job, I say yes to damn near everything. And I do that because I feel like this place is paying me to do these things. I have to say yes. But no, you can say no, because some stuff it's not your job. It's not your responsibility. And we have to be comfortable with saying no and saying no without an explanation. Stand on it. I said no. Yep, I did. Have a good day. And that is also a boundary. Oftentimes when you say no to somebody, oh, well, why? Why not? You did it last time. I don't care. I don't care if I did it 100 times in a row. This time I said no. Move around. So setting boundaries and saying no is important, because when you say yes to others at the expense of your own needs, that can lead to exhaustion and frustration as well, and resentment as well. Resentment. Resentment. I don't think that's a word, but resentment. And then just establishing boundaries in general helps you to protect your energy. It helps you to maintain balance. Okay, so we have to start setting boundaries. And let me say one thing about boundaries. If you're going to set a boundary, please adhere to your own boundary. Oftentimes, we get upset with other people for not respecting our boundary when we don't respect our boundaries. It's time to take accountability. Because so many people love to blame other people for other things. And I think this is a part of self-care as well, that uncomfortable part of it. You have to take accountability for the mess in your life. So if you're not setting boundaries and you're constantly saying yes to people and giving output that you don't really have, you got to take accountability for that and truly examine yourself. You can't always blame everybody else, because people going to be people. People going to people, okay? They going to do as much or as little as you allow them to. So you got to take accountability for that as well. The other thing about self-care, I think you set an example for other people. So if you are managing your mental health and doing all of the things, you set an example for other people. Some people might even ask you like, damn, you going like motherfucker. You seem at peace. You seem happy. You got your priorities together. What are you doing, friend? And you could be like, oh, baby, I prioritize my self-care. I take my lunch breaks. I journal. I pray. I work out, whatever. I go to counseling. I have uncomfortable conversations with the people in my life. I have established boundaries. Just bust it down for them. And they're like, damn, I'm trying to get like you. So it definitely allows you to be an example. One thing that I have learned about self-care, it looks different for everybody. Some people associate self-care with bubble baths and, mimosas with the girls. Other people, baby, it's going to counseling. It's sitting on somebody's couch. For some people, it might be, prayer and meditation. For others, it might be working out. It just depends. But self-care, it doesn't come, packaged in one little box. It is a spectrum, if you will. So just because somebody practices self-care in a different way, that doesn't mean that you're doing self-care wrong. And also understand, self-care is not always pretty. Sometimes it is sitting down with yourself and facing ugly things or ugly truths or having uncomfortable conversations or cutting people off that you thought was going to be in your life for the rest of your life. Whatever the case is, it's going to look different. And it's not always sunshine, skittles, and rainbows. Sometimes yeah, I don't have the words that I'm trying to say, but y'all catching it, I think, And then the last thing that I want to talk about in a sense of self-care is how it can strengthen your relationships. I have been in relationships where the person did not prioritize self-care and they were always drained. They always were irritated, impatient, and disconnected. And that was because they weren't prioritizing their self-care. They were just giving. And most of the time it was giving to a job. It wasn't giving to their family, giving to me, their child, none of that. It was giving to a job. I've been in several relationships like that, actually, where it's just like the focus, again, is that hustle culture. I got to get up and go get it by any means. I got to make this money. So it doesn't matter, that I haven't poured into myself or that my cup is empty. So that is one thing that I definitely can say. Practicing self-care can strengthen relationships, and it allows you to recharge yourself and engage with the people that you love from a place of wholeness rather than a place of frustration or emptiness. Get into that. And the final thing that I would say about self-care, you deserve it. It's not selfish. You deserve it. It's something that is completely necessary. And you don't have to justify taking care of yourself. You don't have to explain to others why your well-being matters, why your mental health matters. It's just something that you're doing for yourself. And it is allowing yourself to take the time that you need to refill your cup, to recharge yourself so that you can show up, whether it's in the workspace, your home life, or wherever, so that you can show up being your best self, because you deserve to be your best self. I think that was all I wanted to say. So know that self-care is an investment. It is not selfish. And it should be a part of your everyday life. Even if you just do something to practice self-care once a week, it should be a part of your everyday life. It shouldn't be something, oh, I'm gonna do that next year for self-care. No, because in the meantime, what you doing to fill your cup? And I think it's important to know what fills your cup. So I recommend drawing a cup, or getting a friend who is a better artiste than you, or finding a cup that you can print out online. Trace a cup. I don't know. Find a cup, or even just use a piece of paper. Hell, the point is to do this activity. So you are going to use your cup or a blank piece of paper, a sticky note, your hand, whatever. You can even put it in a notes app, something in your phone. But you are going to write down all of the things that fill your cup. So it might be spending time with family. It might be playing outside with your dog. It could be talking to God. It could be going to therapy. It could be working out. Whatever it is, write it down. Then I want you to start practicing doing those things. I'm not going to tell you how often you should be doing it, because I don't know how often your cup gets depleted. I don't know how often you need to fill your cup. But I will say you need to do something at least once a week. Once a week. And also, if you work a job like a 9-to-5, make sure you are taking your lunch breaks. Make sure you are taking your little 15 or 10 minute break, whatever break you get. Make sure you are taking your breaks, because that is one thing that I am bad about. I will eat through my lunch. I will not take a break. I will hold my urine until I absolutely feel like I'm about to bust. I've stopped doing that because that's the issue. I'm not a camel. But just working literally the whole 8 hours. Text messages piling up, all type of stuff. And I realized you got to stop doing that, because why are you driving yourself crazy? This work is going to be here. And I guarantee you, if you fall out at your job today, they'll replace you before the week is out. So stop doing that. Stop thinking that you're not deserving of breaks. And even, if you have a family, or you are in a relationship, or you care for a relative, or whatever the case may be, sometimes you got to take a break from them. Take yourself to the movies, or go on a walk. Go to a therapy session. Go to a pottery class. But do something to pull yourself outside of that situation so that you can feel yourself. Okay? I love y'all. I hope that you picked up what I was putting down in this episode. And y'all already know, when you drinking your water and you minding your business, you good around here. I will see y'all next episode. Have a good rest of your week. And don't forget to prioritize what? Self-care. All right, family, that's it for now. Thank you for tuning into the Dear World Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to share it. And until next time, you know what to do. Drink your water, mind your business.